Hey, this is Derek at Black Diamond Equipment, and today we're going to talk through what to expect when you're trying to get fitted into these different types of climbing shoes. First thing to consider is there's all these different climbing shoes, and they really have kind of narrow or relatively narrow purposes. You know, if you're climbing in the gym or you're just getting started, you're gonna have a certain kind of shoe. If you're getting out all big long days climbing cracks or trad climbing, you're gonna have maybe a little different shoe. And then generally if you're sport climbing or bouldering or getting into some sort of higher performance climbing, that's gonna be broadly like another bucket of shoes. So I thought today we'd just go through the differences in how to get those shoes fitting on your feet. So the first type of shoe that we want to talk about is something that you would maybe get as a first shoe or something that you wear to warm up or as a comfort shoe. And that shoe is something like the BD Momentum. You can see the shoe is pretty flat on the bottom and the shoe is relatively low profile. Looks sort of like a foot. This model has Velcro, and you can get lace versions too. This is the kind of shoe you want to wear pretty flat. Your toes are going to be laying flat in the shoe. You're not going to be too crowded. You'll probably feel it on the ends of your toes and heels, but not crushed. If you look at the shape from the top, once you're fitted heel and toe, you don't want to have too much space. You don't want to have big baggy areas, because really the shoe is only as good as its connection to your foot. The goal there is to get that rubber on your foot attached as solidly as possible, but still be comfortable. You want to be comfortable. Shoe like this, you would fit, take your street shoe size and maybe go right on that street shoe size. If it's a shape that's challenging on your feet, you might go up a size, down a size. That would be something like a beginner shoe like the Momentum, or kind of an all-day comfortable shoe. Another thing to note is that with all of these shoes, you may or may not choose to wear socks. Most people don't wear socks when they wear climbing shoes. It's personal preference. If you have some sort of pain points in the shoe, you know, maybe a sock is gonna help that, or if you just are gonna be out all day and you want something to soak up the sweat. But generally, no socks with climbing shoes. Second type of climbing shoe that we want to talk about is something that maybe is oriented towards climbing outdoors, maybe all day trad climbing or crack climbing, longer routes, generally cracks on granite or sandstone, and that kind of shoe is also pretty flat. You can see the bottom profile is flat, the toe is low profile, and often you have laces going all the way down. What that does is allows you to open and close the laces for different fit, if you have a wide or narrow foot, or if you are climbing all day and you want to loosen that thing up to get a little bit of relief from the heat or the pressure. That's why these trad shoes typically have laces. Often these trad shoes are leather, which gives you a little bit more fit accommodation. They'll stretch and move a bit more than a synthetic shoe. On a trad shoe, whether it's high performance or moderate performance, you know, whether trying your absolute limit routes or stuff that's just longer and out there for fun day climbing, that's going to be also fitted toe and heel touching. You may choose to go a little tighter, a little closer fitting, and a lot of times that's just to make sure that there's no space in the shoe on the sides and the heel and the midfoot. Shoe like this, you're going to fit compared to your street shoe size, maybe on size, but typically a half size down, and really that just comes to personal preference as you sort of evolve through the sport. Another note, as you downsize shoes, you tend to compress your foot, and that can be good. That'll help you be more stable and higher performance. But generally, trad shoe, pretty flat, pretty comfortable. Your toes should lay flat. Now, when we talk about sport climbing shoes or shoes that are kind of for the upper level of performance, when you get here, you're probably going to have a reasonable idea of the type of shoe you want. But you know, if you really enjoy climbing in the gym, bouldering hard, or climbing outdoors, sport climbing, something like the Method or the Method S is going to be fitted a little different than these flatter shoes. So you can see with the Method S, the profile of the bottom is quite a lot different than the profile of the bottom of the Momentum. The reason is, when you wear a shoe like this, you typically want your toes to be bunched up in the end. Now this is quite a soft shoe, so while you're compressing your foot, the shoe does accommodate it quite a bit. So you should be able to bend your front toe into this pocket this volume that's provided above your toes, and really have the shoe tight. You know, this thing should feel stretched over your foot versus your foot kind of sitting in a shoe like this. Something like the Method S or the Method, you're actually going to size that down a half size, a full size, sometimes a size and a half. This is a good demonstration where this is my size of Method S, and this is my size of Momentum. And there's a pretty noticeable difference in the overall length, and that's largely because this shoe, being so soft and elastic, not only is it stretch in length, but your toe is compressed in there. So that's more of a high performance fit. Okay, so fact is, these are climbing shoes. In order to get them fitted to your feet so they don't move around, and so that rubber is just an extension of your body, there's a good chance they're not going to feel great. Something like this Momentum that's nice and flat, that should feel okay. That should feel not uncomfortable initially, but you do want it relatively close fitting. Something like this Method S, thankfully it's relatively elastic, but this is going to be pretty hard to put on, and it's going to feel potentially a little uncomfortable initially. But once you get used to it, you'll benefit from that tightness with the performance of the shoe.